The first thing is our assessments. Okay, how we can design an effective assessment. Two types of assessments were there, which we are taking usually in our schools. That is formative assessments and summative assessment. Usually, we don't have records for formative assessments, and we don't keep records for formative assessment, and we just keep that paper and pen assessment, and we set our criteria accordingly for each child. But if you do your formative assessments also, so it will help you to create an appropriate data for your children, that is an overall data, and you know that where your child needs to work a lot, where your parents need a little effort and help from their side, and where you can help them on from your behalf. So formative assessment should also be recorded. Whatever the assessments you are taking on daily basis, it should also be recorded over there. So, how should we design our assessments? What is the purpose of assessment? It should have clear learning objectives. Definitely, when you are having your lesson plans and you are having clear learning objectives in that, then it will help you to perform it well. Okay, so you have to assess them on daily basis on the assessment of your learning objectives. How well your learning objectives are designed. What are your learning objectives in your curriculum that you have designed according to your curriculum for your subjects, for your topics. So according to that, you are going to design the assessments also, which is an ongoing assessment that is called formative assessment. So daily basis assessment, you can check on their objectives. For example, if you keep some objectives for your children that from this topic, my students are going to achieve these things. Now, by the end of the topic, when you are writing a reflective diary and when you are taking the anecdotal notes of your students, you should know that which learners have actually grasped the concept and which learners didn't. And then you are going to check whether the 70% or 50% or 100% of your lesson plan is clear to the learners. Because it happens sometimes our teaching strategies are different and we cannot convey the lessons in such a way that it is clear to every child in the classroom. So you have to think or you have to change the strategies or you have to design that lesson plan in such a way that your objectives should be for every children in the classroom. Your objectives cater every single child in the classroom. It's not for high achievers only. It's not for middle achievers only. It should cater low achievers only also. Whatever you're discussing in your lesson plans, whatever you're sharing the knowledge with them in your topics, they should know it very well. Your slow learners also achieve those things very well. So clear learning objectives should be there for your lesson plans that will help you to take the assessments. Development appropriateness, how? Again, the same thing which I told you earlier, that you have to check whether the things you are creating for your students, are they appropriate for them or not? The thing which I've discussed many times, that you have to check the background of every child. Okay, one or two can be neglected or one or two can be altered, but you have to see whether the 50% or 70% of your classroom are coming from such background or having those development areas in their personality which will help them to grow further according to your lesson plans. Otherwise, you are going to design lesson plan in such a way that it will cater every child in the classroom. All right, so you are going to check them, assess them in all the areas of learning. As I told you, your prime areas should be there: your emotional, social, and development, cognitive developments, then their motor skills, fine motor skills, personal development, language and communication. So your lesson plans should be designed in such a way that they cater every child in the classroom almost. Okay, if there are a few which cannot understand, so you provide assistance to them. Two or three can be there. It happens every time that there are 3 or 4 learners which need so much of effort in the classroom. So your focus should always be those children. And you have to, while designing a lesson plan, you have to keep that in mind, whether this lesson plan is appropriate for them or not, whether this assessment criteria is appropriate for them or not, whether they will understand it or not. Our problem is that we create a assessment where we think, okay, good children will answer it, and it happens that 50% of the children are unable to answer them, or at least 30% of children are totally unaware of that. So please try to design an assessment in such a way that they cater every child. Otherwise, for those children, formative assessment is the best thing, because they will get the results there and then. You don't need to put much effort, and they don't need to work hard for it. Formative assessment give you results there and then basis. And what are the variety of assessments? Observations are there. You should observe your children according to their classes. According to their classes mean according to their levels of understanding in the classroom. Then anecdotal records or anecdotal notes that I told you, that it is a very simple record of a children, of every child. You have a plain paper where all the children's name written over there, and your topic is mentioned, and whoever is participating in the classroom, you are going to write about that children over there, or you are going to tick that this children has. If you don't have much time, you are going to simply tick it that this children has shown interest in the topic with you. Okay. Every time, even in my rubrics lesson also, I told the teachers to have, at least when you are starting a new topic, especially for primary and secondary students, whenever you are starting a new topic in the classroom, whenever you are starting with a new chapter in the classroom, just have 20 minutes me time with the children. Don't tell them to open the books, don't tell them to do anything, just have a me time with them, where you and the children are going to conversate about the same topic. But you are not going to tell them that this is the topic we are going to discuss today. You are not going to directly tell them there's this thing we are going to learn today, you are going to do the reading and I'm going to explain it. No, don't do it this way. Change your teaching strategies. This will involve those children also who are low learners, who are slow learners, and who hesitate of reading in the classroom. Because this thing, actually distract them from doing this. Because whenever you told them to go open the book, page this, and we are going to start reading, those kids who don't take interest in the classes, who don't take interest in the new topics, also who are slow learners, they always get hesitate of this thing. So always have 20 minutes me time with your student in the classroom, where no books should be open, nothing should be written on the board. Even you're not going to write the topic on the board, you are just randomly going to discuss about the topic in the classroom. Use the vocabulary used in your that chapter, that topic specifically, and have a me time with your children. In that way, you will come to know that what are their understandings of that particular lesson, how much they know about that particular lesson. With the conversation with each other, they will come to know, different ideas will come forward, different things will come forward. And with this way, believe me, 70% of your lesson completed the same day in that 20 to 25 minutes. So this is the best teaching strategy to start a new lesson. Don't go for writing the vocabulary words on the board. Don't go for writing or reading the book or telling the topic to them. Just have a me time with them. If you want to bring something from home, if you want to tell them to bring something from home, you can tell them also, and just discussed about that. Because usually science, social studies, and these subjects are having, they are related to real life world. Islamiyat is also, actually Islamic studies is also the practical life, the real life. Okay, na? So you are going to use the real life experiences, real life things to them while discussing literacy. What you can do, if there is any story, you can relate the story to the natural world, because there is no story. There are fiction stories also, and non-fiction stories are also there. But even those stories are not without any moral or without any background to them. So what is the purpose of doing this? You will clear 70% of the lesson plan with your children the same day in 20 to 25 minutes. You don't need to put much efforts for that. Got it? Is it clear, everyone? How to do the lesson plan? How to have a
Yes,
meetup in
ma'am.
the classroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Do it. Do it. You believe me, your half of the burden will release, because they will get to know about the topic in that conversation. In that 20-minute conversation, you are going to use the vocabulary used in the chapter. So they will familiar about the vocabulary also, and they will also answer you from their journal life, and the topic will be clear to them. Later, you will do with the reading and other things with them. Okay, checklist. Reading checklist, activity checklist must be there. Okay, what are the checklists that I will share with you also? Anecdotal record. This also I will share the it's what we can say it a sample a sample of anecdotal record and a sample of a checklist also I'll share you. Are basically for, you can make checklists for readings, you can make checklists for their creative writing, you can make checklists for their other activities also. So simple things are written in the checklist, and simply you are going to tick them whether your child has understand them or not. You can set the criteria also. As I told you, 3 4 criterias are there. One, two, three, four are there. If they are not understanding, it would be one. If they are understanding and if they are learning towards it, if they are completing towards it, then you are going to set the criteria. There's a simple checklist over there. You don't need to do anything, that they are printed form and you are going to tick them. All right, now performance assessments that I told you, project and presentations. Project and presentation, best way to record project and presentation, conversations and interviews is rubrics. Nothing is more better than rubrics. At the end of the session, I'll show you all those things. Anecdotal record also, checklist also, and these rubric also that I will share with you also. And these are the simple things. You can have a print of them. You can write it somewhere on the register. You can make a paper of it, and it will help you throughout the month. You don't need to put much effort on it. You will get help from those things throughout the month once you created them. So these are the things which will help you for ongoing assessments. And this will help you for the final assessments also. Now, understanding types of data, as I told you, there are different types of data over there where you're going to collect data. Can be collected in anecdotal records. Data could be collected in checklists. Can be collected in rubrics also. So these are the evidences: the qualitative basis, quantitative basis, scores, and performance basis. All right, so you are going to check your data. There are different types of data where you're going to record it. Interpreting results. Now, how you are going to interpret the results? According to the learning objectives and development expectations. Okay, whatever the source of your data will be, that is according to your learning objectives. And what are the development expectations? What are the success criteria you are designing for your children? That will come in that. Okay, for reading, for example, for reading, you have to check their fluency. You have to check how clear they are in vocabulary, how much vocabulary they are using. So these things will include how, what is the pitch, what is the sound pitch of them, how clear they are in their words, how clear they are in their readings. So these things you are going to check while having the reading time in the classroom. You are simply going to check them. Whenever any child is standing and doing the reading part, there and then all these things will check over there. All the 6 7 criteria of reading will be tick over there and then you can assess them according to their scores. Okay, I told you scores, there are 4 types of scores usually we are having. Either you can have excellent, good, satisfactory, and working towards it, or okay, this kind of things. And there are embedded, emerging, working towards, and struggling towards. Okay, these needs improvement. These things are there. Scores are also mentioned over there. It is not difficult to take out the score. You can give the scores by the number also, 1 2 3 4. You can give the score by ABCD also. You can give the score by the percentages also. So that is not difficult. Scores can be handled easily. But the thing is that the data should be according to your learning objectives and development expectations. That is your success criteria. What success criteria you have put for your children? Criteria for evaluation, alignment with objective, again, okay, same thing, that it is designed according to the learning objectivities, and validity and reliability. Okay, how valid they are and how reliable they are. All right, your validity should be there. It should be measured according to the topics you are going to teach them, and they should be reliable accordingly also. Then analyzing assessment data, again, data collection methods, observations, checklist, rubric, performance assessments, these all will conclude in that. And analysis techniques, as I told you, calculating scores, percentages, identifying trends, patterns, different things are there. Because when we are working with anecdotal records, there are pattern over there that how much children has understand it. So simply you are going to draw that pattern. It's triangle, then one side, one two-third of a triangle, and then one-third of a triangle. So it is going to, I'll show you. After this, I will show you that how you are going to design those things also. Then generating assessment reports or progress check at the end. Okay, report cards, components of a report card, you know that overview of assessment method use, summary of assessment result, and analysis of strength and areas of improvement and recommendations at the next step. Okay, so after report card, maybe these all things will include, you are marking over there, even in your report cards for first, but if you usually we record in report cards only the numbers. Okay, whatever the pencil and pen assessment, sorry, pen and paper assessment you are taking, you are going to record the numbers of that or either the percentages of that. We don't have any criteria for the understanding, for the learning objectives they have done, for the success criteria they have achieved in the classroom. There is no criteria of that in that. If the schools are not making report cards in that way, you can make a soft copy of that. You can discuss with your peers, you can discuss with your administration, and you can create a soft copy. It is very easy, nothing to do with that. You just need to check or tick or color it. These are kind of checklists. So you are just going to assign the colors or assign the scores in that, and you are going to show the performances to the children, because in that way, throughout the year, what the students are doing in the school, the parents will have a clear picture of that in front of them. Then visual presentation is through charts and graphs to enhance the clarity and understanding. These are also different strategies used all over the world. Now, grouping students through evaluation, how you are going to do the grouping of your child through your evaluation. For this, we design a diagnostic test or diagnostic assessment. You can call it a baseline assessment also. What we used to do in that assessment, that whenever the child is coming to your classroom, he's a new child, she's a new child, they are coming from the previous class. What you are going to do, you are going to have a small assessment for them, which can conclude every aspect of the subjects which they have studied before, which they have studied and learned in the previous classroom. You're going to create a small data of that. You are going to have a data accordingly, and what sorry, according to the observation, whatever they have learned in the previous class, you are going to take little things from there, and you are going to assess them accordingly. And once you assess them, why, how it will help you, this evaluation process will help you to segregate your children into 4 groups. Why? Because when the students come in the classrooms, the new children, many times it will take us months to understand the students. All right. It will take weeks to understand the student. Sometimes the student is very good in one subject. For example, if you are taking subjects, definitely from class 2 or 3 onward, subject homeroom teachers have gone, and then the subject teachers have started. Maybe he is doing good for me in mathematics and he's not doing good for Urdu or English or science. And some children are doing good for science, they are brilliant in science, and other teachers are complaining about the children behavior also and his interest also. So this evaluation method actually help all you children in that way, that when you are going to assess them accordingly, you will come to know the criteria of their children, that where that children stands in the classroom, and you are going to evaluate the children accordingly. Now, what are the 2 levels? The 2 basic levels for children are evolving level and embedded level. Okay, what are evolving level? Students' academic performance indicates growth towards meeting the grade level standard. It shows room for growth and improvement. Okay, students' academic performances demonstrate knowledge and understanding that meet the grade level standards covered. All right. So 2 things are there in evolving. One, that either the student is working towards it and trying to meet your expectations. Okay, these are evolving level. Either they are working towards whatever you're teaching to them, they are trying hard to work towards that, or somehow they meet your expectations. All right, there are 2 of the different things. Working towards students are usually low achievers. And evolving, trying to meet expectations are your low MAs. If I talk you about your students in general, and if you think about your child right now, if you are working, if you are a teacher, so segregate your children right now. You will know that there are 5, 6 children who are very good in their classroom, and there are also 5, 6 children who are very low in the classroom. Rest of the children are coming in your MAs, in your middle achievers, in your mediocres. Okay? Why we call them mediocres? Because sometimes they meet your expectations and sometimes they are trying to meet your expectations. That's why they called as mediocres of the classroom, because sometimes they are doing so. Almost more than half of the student of your classroom will come in that category. Either they are trying to meet the expectations or either they are meeting the expectations. They are mediocres of your classrooms. Now high achievers, which I told you about already, they are exceeding expectation. These are those children who um, reach the success criteria within the first lesson. You don't need to put much effort on them. Either they have already know the knowledge, having the knowledge about that topic, or when you told them, they there and then grasp it. They there and then absorb it. So you don't need much effort to put on those children. So set the children on site, because your efforts should not be only for those children who are achieving everything in the classroom or who are mediocres, who others can help them also. Your high achievers can help your mediocres also. Your attention seekers will be your evolving children who are working towards to achieve the goals and to achieve the learning objectives and to achieve the success criteria you have designed for them. They need to achieve that, and your focus should be only those children. Your prime focus should be those children who are actually working towards in the classroom, who are actually struggling to achieve the goals and to meet your objectives in the classroom. Is it clear? So these are the two levels, either the evolving level and the embedded level. Evolving level includes those children who are working towards or trying to meet expectations, and embedded level includes those children who are meeting expectations and exceeding expectations. See, now I have segregated also. Evolving, working towards, LA stands for low achievers. These are your LA students. And trying to meet expectations, these are your middle achievers. Okay? And then embedded, meet expectations, they are your high standards for high achievers. Okay? HA, they are HA students. Embedded are usually gifted and talented students. You can also call them because they are, whatever you are telling them, they are achieving it. They even exceed your expectations. They come up with such good answers, they come up with such good experiences about the daily or natural life that you don't need to ask them. So these are those children who are gifted and talented students of your classroom, and you don't need to put much effort. Your efforts should be on LAs, MAs, and HAs. You can, even your HAs will help you to help the MAs, but your LAs need your help all the time. Your low achievers, your low learners, your low listeners will need your help throughout. All right. Till so far, is it clear, everyone? So I will show you the assessment notes.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear? Okay, I'm going to share few things with you that how they are going to look like. Mhm. I'm going to share screen directly. I hope you can see the screen now. It is now I have shared the direct screen to you. Okay, the activity checklist should be like that. As I told you, this is the grading key, or these are the scores you can give to your children. either with numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, either with E, M, D, N. E means exceed expectations, M means meets expectations, D is developing, and N it needs improvement. Either you can number them 1, 2, 3, 4, or either you can grade them in such a way. Okay, either you can give them score or you can give them the grading key also. So these are the things you are going to include in your activity checklist. Usually for the primary and secondary sections, your social emotional skills should be come in that way. Cognitive skills should come in that way. Language skills are usually like that: speak in complete sentences, engages in conversation, and take turns talking, listen attentively to stories and instructions, follow multi-step directions, use descriptive language to describe object and experiences. So these are the language skills you have to check for every child and every level in the classroom. All right, it is not for the pre-level, it is not for the primary level, it is for the all levels, pre-primary and secondary level. You have to check, you are going to add few things in that according to your levels, that even you can search on internet also, then you can design in such a way. But these checklists will help you to segregate your child's performance in the classroom, and it will also help you in the final reports or final evaluation of your children. And it will help the parents also to know that where my child is standing in the classroom. This is one checklist, and then I'm going to show you the report card. The report card is also designed in such a way that where we are going to put everything in communication and language. When you're talking about their CL prime factors, communication and language is the foremost prime factors of areas of learning. And then your comes to PSED, personal, social, and emotional development, and your PD will comes over there. That is physical development. So these are the prime areas. These are the prime sectors which you are going to set for every child on every level, either primary, pre, or secondary level also. So here in communication languages, you are going to check whether your child's language is clear, concise, coherence, consistency, and courtesy. He should be polite and respectful to you, towards his peers also, and towards even outside of the classroom. So these are the things will help you to evaluate your child accordingly. And this report you can share with the parents also, that these are the things you are finding difficult for your children to handle in the classroom, or these are the things they are good at. Some are not good in education, some are not good in the curriculum, but they are good in their other sectors also. So 7 areas of learning they must be there in your curriculum, not only your four secondary factors that are literacy, numeracy, UOW, and expressing art and design. But the prime factors, without prime factors, there should be no learning in the classroom. If you are not judging your child for their PSED, their PD, and their CL, then I don't think so. Okay, there will be any learning other than that. 4 subjects are there. They will happen throughout the year. But what about their personal, social, and emotional development? What about their physical development? What about their communication and language in the school? So you have to cater all these things in that. So this is for communication and languages. You can set according to your criteria also. Then in literacy, I told you whether it is Urdu or English, you have to check 4 skills of them. There should be reading skills, should be writing skill, then listening skill, then the reading, writing, listening, and speaking skills. Okay, you have to check all the skills of your child in the classroom. Then numeracy will come. Numeracy is also having from basics to complicated. Everything will be come in that. Either big. Actually, these are the approaches which are using in it. These are not about the marks. Whatever the paper and pen assessment you are taking for them, that is another thing. But you have to check whether they are getting the fundamental concepts, whether they are getting the mathematical reasoning or not, whether they are having connections with real life object or not, is they are having consistent practice or not. That you cannot take out in your exams paper. When you are taking paper and pen exams, you just come to know you're just taking out the assessment of the that set desired a part you have taken. that 2 or 3 pages you are assessing. It is not like that. Throughout the year, maybe your child has done so many good things in the classroom, but in the exams, in the paper, they are not able to understand, or they are not able to give in that way, the way you are expecting from them. So you will not say that this child will be a 50% in the classroom throughout the year. Maybe that child is very much active in the classroom throughout the year, but there are some reasons they are not doing well in the papers. They are not doing well in the exams. Then there can be many things. There can be psychological order also. Few children doesn't like to give exams in that way. There are psychological problems also. You cannot say, you cannot assess a child only by after 3 months or 4 months through a paper. With the paper and pen assessment, you cannot assess a child accordingly. Throughout the year, the child learning should be there, and that should be assessed. So these are the things which help you to take out child's assessment throughout the year. So consistent practice should come over there, whether they are doing homeworks or not, whether they are performing their tasks on daily basis or not. Application, how they are using or how they are applying the real, the criteria to the real life world. Okay, mental maths, how good they are developing their skills in the mental maths. Then approaches of problem solving and so many things. Critical thinking is there, explaining solutions are there, collaborative learning is there, then group learning is there. So you have to set that criteria and you have to assess every child accordingly. Then understanding of the world will come. That will include your technology, your science, your engineering. Everything will come in that. Your STEM, basically STEM performances will come in there. Then personal, social, and emotional development. How well they speak in the classroom. How well they are taking interest in their activities. How well they are having positive image in the classroom. How well they show. How well they talk about their feelings. How well they talk about their behaviors in the classroom. How well they are showing their behaviors to others also. How well they are working in groups or without groups also, and how they handle different situations in the classroom. Okay, so this is included in your PSCD. Your child needs development in every area throughout the year. I personally, what I think, we cannot judge a child only by a paper and pen assessment after 3 or 4 months. For me, this is not an assessment. And internationally also, when I work internationally, I come to know that this was the most wrong way to assess the children, to have the evaluation of the child in that way. This is the most wrong way. So it includes everything. All these aspects should be completed, covered in that. And then later you can give them marks also, whatever you have assigned for them, you can give marks to them. You have paper and pen assessment. I know in Pakistan, we have to take, even in UAE, we used to take paper and pen assessment, but twice in a year, not more than. For preschools, once in a year. For primary and secondary sections, only twice in a year. Otherwise, they are having projects. They don't have any other thing. They are assessed with their projects, with their practical work. They are going to assess. For all the subject, they are having projects, presentations, and these kind of things. Started from grade 1. आ रही है, एक सेकेंड होल्ड कीजिएगा प्लीज, एक सेकेंड वेट. निकलना, आराम से चल के जाना बाहर. All right. Okay, everything cleared here. Then you can give them grading level also accordingly. And then the teachers comment and everything overall comments will come over there. Acha, Miji. All right, everybody got it? Is it clear to you all? These things I will share with you, inshallah ta'ala.
Yes, ma'am.
Teachers overall comments, term 1, term 2 comments, principal signatures or whatever the designation. I know you cannot design your report cards accordingly, but at least on your own, you can even share these things to the staff, to your peers, to their administration, that this thing can be introduced. My purpose of doing this step or taking this step is only this, that we can bring change. Individually, we should bring change. Or otherwise, we can set our lesson plans in such a way that it will cater every child in the classroom. We should assess our children our own way. Got it,
Yes,
dear?
ma'am.
ठीक है ना?
Yes, ma'am.
I know it is difficult to change everything on the on administration level, but still there are things which we can change, na? Which we can do.